Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Mayor's Table. With me today is Fire Chief Robert Sterrett. We're going to be talking about the drought, fire restrictions, what is energy release components, and how it's up to us as a community to make sure that we have a fun and safe summer and 4th of July. Hi everyone, Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Mayor's Table. It's hot outside, in case you haven't noticed. And with me today is Fire Chief Robert Sterrett. Robert, this is your first time on the show.
It is.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I thought as the Fire Chief, it might be a good opportunity to bring you on with 102-degree weather outside and July 4th coming up. And I wanted us to kind of give the audience a little bit of information on the restrictions that we're putting out there, why we're restricting certain fireworks, why everything outside right now is basically ready to catch fire.
So it is. It really is.
It's an intense summer already.
It is, and the heat's been pretty unrelenting, as we've all seen, over triple digits for the last week. And unfortunately, the forecast is we're going to be in that range for an extended period of time. We'll get moments of reprieve, but I mean, today was an example. It's only 98 degrees today. But, the forecast, from now till the end of August is above normal temperatures. And we already run pretty hot summers already. So that triple digit, we're going to be there for, I would imagine, the duration of the summer, with the exception of whatever weather fronts come through.
I'm praying for rain, Chief.
I am
praying for rain.
We all know the Weather Service is a challenging job.
Sure.
So hopefully that we do get some rain.
It's been interesting, in our conversations we've had. Obviously, the city of Farmington has implemented Drought Stage 1, which is an advisory drought stage. We're asking folks to reduce their water use by 10%. The river's running right now. The lake is full, so those things are positive. But really what we're asking folks is to kind of prepare themselves for Stage 2, which in my mind, and the conditions that we're in right now and what we see in the forecast for the next 90 days, Stage 2 is almost inevitable in my mind. So we want to get people in the habit at this point so that when it matters, when we really want to make sure that we keep Farmington Lake full because the river's not flowing, that we already have those practices in place to do that. Now, we're coming up on July 4th, and this is always kind of I don't want to say it's a challenging time. People want to celebrate, and historically July 4th is the time to go out and light fireworks off and have a good time with family and friends and celebrate the 4th of July. But in the past 3 years, at least since I've been mayor, every year actually that I've been elected official, we've done some extra things at council to try and restrict certain fireworks. Tell us a little bit about what is restricted and what's not restricted.
So restricted fireworks are anything with a label that says warning. For the general consumer, you might not know this firework's restricted or not, but if you look at the label and it says warning on it, that's a restricted firework, because those, when they are lit, they basically leave the area, and that's uncontrollable, so you couldn't get it with a water hose or a bucket of water to help put it out if something started.
Good point.
Legal or permissible fireworks will have on the warning label, it'll say caution instead of warning. And that's an easy way for everybody to know what's legal and not legal. Any, bottle rockets, Roman candles,
airborne,
those are not legal.
Okay.
Anything that stays on the ground or in a general area that if you had to reach it with a hose really quickly, you can, would be considered legal. Less than 8 feet in height.
Stationary, the small fountain cones, those kind of things, those are legal. And I get it. You know what? It's not fun. It's not fun when you can't do the things maybe you did as a kid, but things have changed. And when you're in a drought situation, we all have to be aware. We have to be responsible. And we have to change our behaviors based upon what the environment is presenting to us in this moment. And right now, Chief, I've got a backyard that sits next to a park full of pinyon trees and cedar trees, and I know that all it takes is just a little bit of spark, and we could have a major issue.
Absolutely. So we gather our weather information and our drought information from a various number of sources. Obviously, the National Weather Service for the forecasted weather that we see, for what the temperatures are we can expect, what the moisture is going to be over, a 7-day or a 3-month time period. With that, we as a fire department, we gain some other information from the Forest Service. One of those components is what they call ERCs, which is Energy Release Component, and that basically tells us in fuels how much of that fuel is available to release all of its energy.
Yeah.
And so right now, it's over 90%.
Wow.
So, a lot of times you drive by forest fires or whatever, you see a lot of logs left over. Well, that's because either they were green or the ERCs weren't that high where it couldn't release all of its energy.
Interesting.
So, we work closely with other fire departments, San Juan County, Cortez, Durango. And so we obviously already have restricted the use of burn permits, and that was based part on the ERC. The other component with that is that's a tool. We actually have to observe what the fires are doing around us. And so with the collaboration of San Juan County and the large fires they had in April that were out of characteristic for the time of year, and then we had a few fires here in town. I mean, it was probably middle of May. We had a 2.5, almost 3 acre fire, which we normally don't get those until late summer. So those are points of concern where we gather the information. Obviously, we are in an exceptional drought, which
is the highest ranking of drought.
It is, and with that, I mentioned the ERCs, so we don't physically measure. The Forest Service measures fuel moisture and dead fuels. And as a consumer that goes to a lumber store to buy lumber, that lumber's kiln dried, so it doesn't warp as much, twist as much, and so forth. They dry that anywhere between 12 and 16% moisture content when you take it out of Home Depot. And we call that a 100-hour fuel. And basically what that means is it takes 100 hours for that fuel to have 0 moisture, or 100 hours for it to have 100% moisture. And I use a 2x4 as that example because that's roughly a 100-hour fuel.
Okay.
The Forest Service, when I looked yesterday, our 100-hour fuels are less than or equal to 5% fuel moisture.
That's not good.
No, that's horrible.
Well, and we have a wildland component of our fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you from the insurance world's perspective, homeowners insurance in areas of our city where they have that fuel component, those trees, mm-hmm.
which
is a lot of north part of the town, we've seen an increase in people's premiums because of the fire dangers continually increasing. And it brings up a good point. The responsible part for individuals who live in areas like that, including myself, is to bring a responsible and educated, service-minded person out there. There's services available for tree removal, and look at your property and see where you need to possibly take action mm-hmm. and remove some of that fuel out. I hate to get rid of trees, obviously, but you have to be keeping those things in mind, especially in times like this.
There's a great resource out there it's a national website. It's in collaboration with the Forest Service. It's called FireWise, and it gives homeowners basically a diagram of how to make their home safe in those areas if there were to be a fire. It gives
great
us
resource, yeah.
It gives us it's firewise.com, and it gives us space to defend homes. It gives homeowners the ability to lay out the landscaping where it's essentially a standalone safe house.
Sure. You want a distance between those trees, those fuels, and the home itself.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to burn your landscape or cedar trees. It's another thing for it to get to your roof, and all of a sudden it catches everything else on fire.
And with that, right now with the drought we're in, we're actually going to see dead loss of live trees without moisture coming into the area. It's to that point that green trees are going to struggle to survive this summer.
Yeah.
Which only makes that worse.
Sure.
There is some concern with the fireworks. I know every year we get a slew of calls about why we don't ban fireworks outright.
That's a question I wanted to ask you, right? Why don't we ban them completely, and why are there still companies selling, banned fireworks in our county or in? I think they're outside of city. Well, there may be some inside city limits.
They should all be outside of city limits.
They should all be outside city limits.
And actually, this year, San Juan County Fire passed a resolution also.
Okay.
So it should be less of an issue for us this year. I don't know the criteria of what all they restricted, but with that, the state statute doesn't allow us to ban all fireworks. It only allows us to ban a certain set. And that's the city maintains that 365 days a year. So it's not a change when we get into fireworks season. When we do the resolution, we're urging citizens to refrain from use. And if they are, it needs to be a barren, open area, pavement.
With a water hose.
Have to have a water source. So that makes barren kind of difficult.
Sure.
We also receive phone calls. For those that aren't aware, the BLM they're allowed to ban fireworks as they're a federal agency and they don't have to follow the state guidelines.
Sure.
So just so everybody knows, fireworks are banned in all BLM areas. So we do field a variety of phone calls with that. And this would be a prime year if we had the opportunity to ban fireworks. That would be a suggestion.
Yeah.
But it's just outside of our scope.
Well, look, we have the July 3rd fireworks show. I believe that Bloomfield's going to have their fireworks show. I'm sure Mr. Bolak is going to have his fireworks show. There are public community events where we can come out and celebrate together and enjoy that. Now, we do those fireworks shows, but guess who's sitting on top of that hill where the fireworks going off?
Oh, yeah.
Fire departments. And they're there, they're ready, they've got their water source. And so keep those things in mind. But to what you just said, if there was a year where you would recommend banning the sale, banning the use, total restrictions, it would be right now.
Yes.
And it has to do with the ERC is such a great that's a great point. If they're telling us that 5% of it's only 5% moisture, I mean that's dangerous. And even Devin Neely put out some information from San Juan County, who has also passed an emergency drought resolution from their commission, and made the comment that said, look, even a sprinkle of rain isn't going to do anything. We're at our ground is so dry, we need a downpouring. I have to chuckle to myself, only to myself, because I know that the rains that we had in 2013 were devastating to a number of people personally as well as businesses. But we spent $11 million building, new drainage systems and retention ponds and all this stuff to deal with these large rain activity, and we haven't had any large rain activity really since then. It's been 8 years since we've had really strong rains.
It has been a while, and with that, the monsoons, they're hit and miss.
Yeah.
And I talked about 100-hour fuel, roughly the diameter of this coffee cup, but that doesn't compare to 1,000-hour fuel, and those are still floating at the 10% range. And so when you look at those larger fuels, we need rain for every day for weeks to really make a difference. And that's why with the forecast of an equal chance of a monsoon season, they're not expecting a change in our drought with that because it's just not consistent enough.
Chief, what else you got for this subject? I think we've kind of ran through my list. Fire restrictions, no burn permits are being issued right now.
Correct. Now, there is some difference. I know when we did that, there was some concern that it's a burn ban. It's not a burn ban. However, that doesn't mean we're going to get to that point because we start imposing burn bans. That's going to, people won't be able to use charcoal. They won't be able to have open fires. Those would be the impact of doing burn restrictions.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
Not yet, but it's
potential.
Yeah, the potential is high for that. The other component with the fireworks show, the city, we invest heavily in public safety for that show. We bring in BLM crews, San Juan County crews. We stage crews across the city so everybody can have an enjoyable time.
Sure.
This year, it's going to be hot. So plan on that. Bring water, bring shade, because it doesn't take long in heat like that to start showing heat-related illnesses.
Sure.
The other
Great point.
The other component of that is with the fireworks show, we're up on top of Sullivan Hill. We need to restrict foot traffic that day on the trails that go around there. We don't need to worry about possibly people walking around if a fire starts or something, and have an extra concern to deal with during the show.
Okay. So really it's on us, as it normally is. And you could tell me this. Most forest fires and these large fires, what percentage of them are normally started by humans?
It's a high percentage.
It's a high
I don't
percentage.
have the actual percentage, but it's high.
Between humans and lightning, I mean,
Mhm.
lightning during dry seasons obviously has a big impact. Or if you're in Durango, trains potentially have that impact as well.
I was going to say vehicles. I mean,
Yeah,
most people don't realize that dragging trailer chains,
spark.
bad brakes, things like that, they start fires. Flat tires, they start fires all the time.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
And so properly maintaining your vehicle or your trailer is a component of it.
Yeah. Well, things are coming home to roost right now, Chief, and I appreciate your input on this. Where can people go for more information about kind of what's been laid out this year? Is the city website the best place to go? Is there somewhere that the fire department is managing some information?
We're trying to keep up with our page and making sure information's out there. The Forest Service, there's a great website that we all use. It's called SWCC Fire, SWCC Fire, and that's where we grab all of our data as far as fire danger, fuel moisture, forecasts.
Well, that's great to know.
So-
SWCC Fire?
Mhm.
Okay. I know we use the Palmer Drought Index for a number of things. And the NOA website also has information on there.
And that's tough for us, because I know with your drought meetings that's what you use, and the state lines out for us that we've got to grab ours from the National Weather Service. So
Okay.
there is some varying in what is reported between the two.
But I think overall, we're looking at extremely dry weather.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of sunshine, so I appreciate the fact. Stay hydrated. Always have water with you. I mean, these are the kind of things when I visited my family in Phoenix, they always tell me, hey, Dave, make sure you never leave anywhere without water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exactly what we're saying here. Make sure you have water. Make sure you have shade. If you're taking your animals out with you, don't leave your animals in your vehicle. To bring water for your animals if you're out on the trails. All those little components play an important role in making sure that we get through this as an entire community, and we act responsibly during those times.
Absolutely. And what you just brought up is a great point for the rest of the summer. If you're going out hiking, biking, enjoying the trails, jeeping, whatever your outdoor recreation is, you make sure to have water with you, because it doesn't take long.
Yeah. Well, they got plenty of hydro flasks and those kind of things at every store in town now. So get your large water bottles and fill them up, and just be responsible when you're playing out here this summer. Let's have a great 4th of July celebration. Thank you to you and the members of our fire department for the jobs that you do. And as a public, I mean, it's really on us as a community, as individuals, to make sure that we're doing the things that the chief is asking us to do. There's a reason why he's asking us to do this. He's pointed out today some really interesting facts regarding fuel and energy release. I mean, things that I had not thought about before. But take the time to prepare yourself for, make a good plan for your home and for your family. And this 4th of July, let's take this serious. If the chief is willing to say this would be a year that he would ban all fireworks sales because of how dry it is out there, I take that serious. You're somebody that I trust. So thank you for joining us today. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just thank you for having me here.
What's your first time? It's
It
always
is.
good. Always good to get your face out there, Chief. So thanks for being here today. And thank you for tuning in. Take these situations responsibly. Trust the chief. And go to the Farmington website, fmtm.org, for more information. We'll see you again here next time on the Mayor's Table.